Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe in the idea that our souls are reborn into new bodies after death to begin a new life? If you don't believe it, you will change your mind after watching this video. We have done extensive research and now want to present 10 mysterious true cases that will leave you speechless. So make yourself comfortable and grab a tasty snack. Number 10. The Case of Joan Grant. Joan Grant was a British author who was born in 1907. She claimed to remember her past life in Egypt and even revealed how the pyramids were built, who built them, and what hidden function the pyramids had. She wrote several books about her experiences, including Winged Pharaoh and Scarlet Feather. In these works, she described in great detail the events and experiences she had in her past life as an Egyptian priestess. She also shared fascinating insights into the construction techniques and the purpose of the pyramids that were unknown to humanity. Joan Grant said that the pyramids in ancient Egypt were built by highly advanced spiritual masters using extremely advanced techniques such as levitation. Levitation is the ability to make objects float using only the power of the mind. That would also explain how the massive stone blocks could have been moved. She described how the ancient Egyptians had a deep understanding of the connection between matter and spirit, and that the pyramids served not only as tombs, but also as energy centers. Grant said, "The pyramids are places of energy concentration. The position of the pyramids in relation to astronomical aspects was said to play a very important role. The pyramids were allegedly deliberately aligned with certain constellations such as Orion." She also described how the ancient Egyptians performed special rituals and prayers during the construction process to activate and enhance the supernatural properties of the pyramids. The most fascinating thing Joan Grant said about the pyramids is that they were energetic portals, which allowed the ancient Egyptians to communicate with the gods and seek spiritual enlightenment. Joan Grant repeatedly emphasized that her books were based on true memories that she experienced during deep trance. Her impressive accounts of the pyramids sparked controversial discussions about the nature and true purpose of the pyramids. How could she have known all of this? Where did she get this extraordinary information? Was Joan Grant truly the reincarnation of an Egyptian priestess? A truly fascinating story. If you enjoy the video, then give us a subscription and a thumbs up. Thank you. Number 9. The Heartbreaking Case of Luke Byrd. Kathy Byrd's son Luke claimed from early childhood to remember a past life as Lou Gehrig, the world-famous baseball player. He said, "I used to play baseball and then I died because I got very sick." Henry Louis Gehrig was a legendary American baseball player who lived from 1903 to 1941. Despite his fame and great success, Gehrig suffered from a severe neurological disease and sadly passed away shortly before his 38th birthday on June 2, 1941. At the age of 2, when most children can barely speak, Luke began talking about his past life as Lou Gehrig. His mother, Kathy Byrd, initially ignored his stories, believing that her son just had a very vivid imagination. But she changed her mind when Luke began to recount detailed stories about Lou Gehrig's life that he absolutely could not have known. Kathy said her son had never been told or shown anything about Lou Gehrig, and it was impossible that he knew these things. Luke was shown photos of Gehrig and recognized him immediately, even though he had never seen him before. His mother was shocked. A key moment came when Luke literally named the location of Yankee Stadium, even though he had never been there. Kathy then began to research Luke's memories and discovered astonishing matches with Lou Gehrig's life. Everything Luke said, including details about Gehrig's house, his family, and his career, was 100% correct and true. Unbelievable. How could this little boy have known all that? Is this case perhaps proof of reincarnation? Luke also desperately wanted to visit Lou Gehrig's grave and eventually broke into tears when he stood before it. What a heartbreaking story. This astonishing story of Luke was documented in the book The Boy Who Knew Too Much and has fascinated many people. Number 8. The Watch from World War II. The case of Bruce Whittier from 1994 is an extremely mysterious story that raises questions about reincarnation and connections to past lives. Whittier, tormented by recurring nightmares, found himself in his dreams in the role of Stefan Horowitz, a Jewish man who hid with his family during the Holocaust in World War II. Their discovery eventually led to deportation to the concentration camp Auschwitz, where Stefan Horowitz lost his life. Driven by these intense dreams, Bruce Whittier began drawing a specific watch that he repeatedly saw in his dreams. Amazingly, he discovered that very same watch in an antique shop near his home. Whittier showed the shop owner his detailed drawing of the watch from his dream. The shop owner recognized the watch immediately and was astonished. He told Whittier that this watch had belonged to a German officer from World War II, which confirmed Whittier's conviction that he had existed in a past life. Experts who studied his case thoroughly said it was impossible that he could have known about this specific watch. The antique dealer said he had never seen Bruce Whittier before, and therefore it was out of the question that Whittier had seen the watch at an earlier time. So how did Bruce Whittier know about this watch? Was he perhaps the reincarnation of a man who died in the Auschwitz concentration camp during World War II? What an astonishing story. Number 7. John F. Kennedy was the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln. There are people who are convinced that John F. Kennedy was the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln. They claim that the striking parallels between the two U.S. presidents are definitely no coincidence. John F. Kennedy is said to have made serious allusions during his lifetime that he had memories of a past life as Abraham Lincoln. Extremely intriguing. John F. Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917, and became the 35th President of the United States. On November 22, 1963, President Kennedy was assassinated during a motorcade in Dallas, allegedly by a man named Lee Harvey Oswald. Kennedy's assassination caused grief and shock around the world and stunned the entire globe. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, and was the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln was a fierce opponent of slavery and led the country during the American Civil War. On April 14, 1865, he was shot in a theater in Washington by a man named John Wilkes Booth. Now let's look at the astonishing similarities between Kennedy and Lincoln. Both men lived in very turbulent times. Lincoln governed the nation during the American Civil War in the 19th century, while Kennedy lived through the Cold War in the 20th century, and both were assassinated by killers. Lincoln fought for the abolition of slavery, and Kennedy worked for civil rights and social justice. Even their career paths were identical. Both began as lawyers and then advanced into politics. Kennedy often mentioned Lincoln in his speeches and considered him an inspiring figure. Because of the numerous similarities and the fact that John F. Kennedy repeatedly said he had memories of a past life as Abraham Lincoln, some people have asked themselves the following question. Was John F. Kennedy the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln? Number 6. The Case of Taranjit Singh. In northern India, a remarkable story took place about Taranjit Singh, a boy from the village of Aluna Miana. Taranjit had claimed since childhood that in his past life he was a boy named Satnam from the nearby village of Chakchela. Satnam lost his life at a young age in a tragic scooter accident. One of the most compelling details Taranjit revealed about his past life was the existence of a radio shop connected to Satnam. Taranjit said, "I used to work in a radio shop." Taranjit's ability to describe this shop and its importance in Satnam's life, without ever having had contact with the village or its people, astonished both his family and the researchers who investigated the case. Even more astonishing was Taranjit's knowledge of Satnam's scar on his head. He said Satnam had received the scar when someone threw a stone at his head. He even pointed to the exact spot of the scar. There was no way he could have known that. Taranjit did not know Satnam and had never seen him. Satnam died in a scooter accident long before Taranjit Singh was born. so how could he have known? Researchers such as Dr. Ian Stevenson, who dedicated their lives to the study of such phenomena, considered the case of Taranjit Singh to be genuine. The detailed information that Taranjit gave was all verified and confirmed. An extremely credible case of reincarnation. Number 5. The case of Virginia Tighe. Virginia Tighe, a housewife from Pueblo, Colorado, told her therapist, Dr. Maury Bernstein, about her vivid memories of a past life in Ireland as a woman named Bridey Murphy. Dr. Maury Bernstein, an American businessman and amateur hypnotist, then conducted a total of 8 hypnosis sessions with Virginia Tighe. During these fascinating regressions, Virginia spoke of Bridey Murphy, an Irish woman from the 19th century. Her accounts included detailed descriptions of Bridey Murphy's life, including her family, surroundings, and specific events in Ireland. What was also highly remarkable was that Virginia was able to speak fluent Irish during these hypnosis sessions, even though she had never been exposed to the language before. This fact completely astonished Dr. Maury Bernstein. Dr. Bernstein, fascinated by Virginia's story, began carefully investigating the case and discovered astonishing matches with actual historical records. He documented this inexplicable case in his book, The Search for Bridey Murphy. The story of Virginia Tighe and Bridey Murphy became known worldwide and sparked great fascination with reincarnation and past lives. Number 4. The case of Ma Tin Aung Myo. Ma Tin Aung Myo, a girl from Myanmar, claimed in the 2000s that she had once been a soldier. At just 3 years old, Ma Tin began talking about her former life as a Japanese soldier. She gave detailed descriptions of scenes from the war, including combat operations and personal experiences. Ma Tin said that she was very afraid, but she was not alone. Other men fought alongside her in the war. She was able to name the exact places she had been and describe events she experienced in her past life as a soldier. It should be mentioned here that it is highly unusual for a 3-year-old child to talk about such things, especially in such detail. Her family was shocked by their daughter's unusual claims and began to investigate her story. The parents of Ma Tin Aung Myo quickly discovered that her vivid descriptions matched exactly with World War II. The parents said their daughter had never been told anything about World War II or wars in general, nor had she ever been shown anything. Therefore, they considered it highly unlikely that this was just imagination. They also mentioned that Ma Tin Aung Myo spoke in extremely detailed ways about her memories and even answered questions when people wanted to learn more. Pretty crazy. Could this girl really be the reincarnation of a Japanese soldier from World War II? Number 3. The case of Jenny Cockell. Jenny Cockell, a woman from England, claimed in the 1990s to remember a past life as Mary Sutton in Ireland. Her story fascinated people around the world and sparked a debate about reincarnation. Cockell said that since her childhood, she had vivid memories of a past life in which she lived as Mary Sutton and had children. Jenny Cockell began to research her memories in order to uncover the truth behind her feelings. In the process, she found astonishing matches with historical records about the life of Mary Sutton. She traveled to Ireland to visit the places she claimed to have known in her past life. During her visit to Ireland, Cockell identified many places, such as the house where she had lived and the school she had attended. She even met people she knew from her past life. Cockell said, "I felt a strong emotional connection to these places and people." These fascinating experiences in Ireland convinced Cockell that she was the reincarnation of Mary Sutton. Her book, Across Time and Death, A Mother's Search for Her Past Life. Children tells her journey and experiences in a very moving way. All of us know that strange feeling when a place or a person seems familiar, even though we have never seen that place or person before. Do you know that feeling too? Just write it down below in the comments. We are very excited to see what you will share. Number 2. The Case of Ian Hagedorn. Ian Hagedorn, a 6-year-old boy from Pensacola, Florida, drew great public attention with his extraordinary statement. He claimed that in his past life, he was a police officer in New York who was shot during a robbery. His detailed memories of certain events make for an extremely convincing case for the existence of reincarnation. Ian vividly described how one night he went into a store and was shot by criminals there. A story that impressed deeply not only because of its emotional depth, but also because of the precise details he was able to provide. He remembered the location of the incident, the circumstances that led to it, and even the emotions and thoughts he had at the very moment it happened. The scientist and psychiatrist Dr. Jim Tucker from the University of Virginia documented and thoroughly studied the case of Ian Hagedorn. His research led to a case in which a police officer had indeed been shot at night in a store, and Ian's statements matched the details exactly. Dr. Tucker said it was impossible for a 6-year-old child to have known about this case. The case of Ian Hagedorn is therefore regarded as evidence for reincarnation and has made many people think deeply. Number 1. The case of Tang Jiangshan. The story of Tang Jiangshan is one of the most credible cases of reincarnation. Born in China's Hainan province, Tang began, at the tender age of just 3 years old, to make extraordinary claims. He said that in his past life, he had been a man named Chen Mingdao, who lived in Danzhou near the coast. He said that during the Chinese Cultural Revolution in the late 1960s, he tragically lost his life. Chen Mingdao died from a gunshot to his stomach, which was visible as a large birthmark on the stomach of the little boy. At the age of 6, Tang convinced his parents to travel to the town near the coast, 160 kilometers away, which he said had been his former home. There, he not only found his former father, but also recognized numerous relatives and even his former best friend. All of the boy's claims were confirmed by his former family. Even the detailed descriptions of his death turned out to be true. The family of Chen Mingdao said their son had indeed been killed by a gunshot to the stomach during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The father of Chen Mingdao said in an interview that he is firmly convinced that Tang Jiangshan is the reincarnation of his deceased son, Chen Mingdao. Tang's story, published in the magazine Oriental Woman in 2002, left a deep impression on the public and led many people to seriously engage with the topic of reincarnation. Could this incredible case be proof of reincarnation? We must keep in mind that all the statements of this little boy were officially confirmed as true. A truly impressive story. Now we look forward to hearing your personal opinions. Do you believe in reincarnation? Which case did you find the most fascinating? Just write it down below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.